Well, hello. This is from my new phone. This is David Shore. Now, I wrote a book called Families Destroyed. It's currently available on Amazon. Shipping is free. Just found that out. It's about Child Protective Services, the trauma it inflicts upon families. These are testimonies from actual families. Excuse me. Well, what I'm here to talk to you about is something that someone had said to me. Actually, the gentleman, he's got a battle he's doing himself with CPS. I won't mention his name because he's dealing with enough as is. But he said that he admired my courage, that most people just complain. They just yell on social media outlets like Facebook. And I have to agree. People, look, fear, I have found out, is an acronym. It's false evidence appearing real. Now, why is it that we are so afraid of Child Protective Services? Oh, if I say this, if I do more than just yell, well, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, guess what? They may do it anyhow. Stop being afraid of doing something. What you're afraid of is probably worse than what's actually going to happen. I wrote a book. I took people's testimonies. I got published. And I'll tell you, I'm going to be sending it to people like Trey Gowdy, Dr. Phil. I'm going to have people like Casey Hendrickson. I'm going to drop him off a copy as soon as possible, if he hasn't already purchased a copy. Now, this is more than just about me promoting my book, which I don't mind promoting. Don't mind tooting my own horn. But what it is this. People are afraid. We got a government that's telling you, oh, don't do this, don't do that. If you do, well, we're going to come after you. Well, guess what? If you're going to live your life in fear, then don't go out of your house. Don't make any decisions. Because if you make a decision, oh, Big Brother's going to be right there, and he's going to say, guess what? We're going to take this away from you. We're going to take away your property. We're going to take away your job. We're going to take away your family. We're going to take away this and that. And then, guess what? You're no longer in the United States of America. You know what you're in? You're in a socialistic country. You're in a communistic country. I've heard of people getting their children taken away by Child Protective Services. I saw a video of a cop that broke into this woman's house. She filmed the whole thing, broke the door down, said that he had a warrant for his arrest, where she just asked this officer, as clear as I'm talking to you, does he have a warrant? He said no. Obviously, by his look and by the way he was speaking, he was under the influence of something. But I can't say what. It could just be that he was working hard. Sometimes you get that effect. But what I am going to say, what I'm going to say to all of you is, if you fear that the police are going to come there, break your door down, take you into custody, no warrant or anything, well, then guess what? Then we have the Gestapo. Then we have Nazis. Then we have a government that's out of control. A government that puts us in fear. We should never, ever be afraid of our government. Don't be afraid to speak up. If you see injustice, record it. Police don't like it, tell them it's your First Amendment right. Now, I get upset. And the reason why I get upset is because I hate corruption on all levels. Child Protective Services has become might as well say, become a government unto itself. But I'm tired of people saying, nothing I can do. Yes, there is. Fight. Look at countries like Paris. Well, cities, I should say. Paris, France. What about Canada? Look at the other countries. They're rising up. Yellow vests protesters are called. And they're just sick and tired of the government screwing them over. The government saying, this is in your best interest. No, it's not. It's in their best interest. It's in their best interest to screw over the worker. Now, there may be some of you out there that feel that Donald Trump is doing just that. Well, why don't we all band together? Look, we can have protests just like the ones that the Yellow Vests have done. Now, you notice that I say just like the Yellow Vests. Now, if you notice, the Yellow Vests, what I've seen is they're not being violent. It's the law enforcement there that are being violent. Tear gas. Hosing them. Using violent means. Arresting them for their right to protest. But getting back to my original idea, fear is false evidence appearing real. Why are you so afraid to put yourself out there? If you've got a story to tell, put it out there. If you got a camera just like this on your phone, do yourself a favor. Make a video. Record these assholes. Record them. Now, I'm sorry if you found my language offensive. And for your snowflakes that want to fight against people like me, I say this. Check the Constitution, okay? And don't put your own spin on it. What it says, that's what it is. The Fourth Amendment, and this is for all law enforcement, it's against illegal search and seizure. And you got to get a little thing called a warrant. And that's not just, well, we can't be carrying papers all over the place. If someone asks you to see a warrant, you produce said warrant. If you can't, then shut up. Breaking down doors is what the Gestapo did. Unless you have the warrant and then they refuse. You got that warrant in your hand. They refuse. Then yeah. Maybe, I don't know the reason why they won't let you in. But you have to stop and think. Get the warrant. And for Child Protective Services social workers like Kenneth Downs and Elizabeth Arena, that money you've been collecting, and I've heard anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 and $8,000 to $12,000. Well, I hope you weren't enjoying that too much, because you're going to need that for a lawyer. Now, this is Christmas. Now, I know that people are enjoying time with their family. I just dropped my daughter off with her boyfriend over at the local theater. I'll be picking them up in a couple hours. There are people that do not have their families, their children. How you CPS social workers sleep at night is beyond me. The monsters? Well, the monsters are the ones that you guys hire. They may even be you. Talk about how kids are being abused, broken bones, bruises, being molested, even killed. But guess what? What I've seen so far? Yes, there are parents who do that. I just read where a foster parent starved the child to death. There were foster parents that, wow, they buried the children in the backyard. And if you think that they were dead, this article stated that the children were still alive. Somebody had reported it. So, I've got more information in my book, Families Destroyed. Now, whether or not you buy it, that's up to you. It's on Amazon. It's $9.99 for the paperback and $2.99 for the Kindle. So, it's up to you. But if you want to sit around and yell and do absolutely nothing more than that, that's your right. But will you people please? My old man, my father, God rest his soul, he told me, said, David, you gotta do one of two things, shit or get off the pot. So I'm telling you, what are you gonna do? Shit or get off the pot. Do something. You don't like Donald Trump? You think he's done something illegal? Well, guess what? Stop being a Sunday armchair quarterback. This is what you do. You go out and find the evidence. If you think he is guilty, then find the evidence. If not, shut up! Look, there were things Barack Obama did that I didn't approve of. But you know something? There's only so much I can do. After a while, I moved on. Why don't you Trump bashers move on? Just move on. Come on. 2020 is coming. It's 2 years away. The election. In fact, less than 2 years. Do yourself a favor. Stop this right now. Hey, let's videotape this guy that's following me. Yeah? Now, he may be going the same way, but I'm just going to pull over to the side because I shouldn't really be videotaping while I'm there. Just thought I'd let you look at him. But anyhow, just if you don't like Trump, then find a candidate that you believe can beat him. Now remember, I believe I've said this in videos in the past. You have to remember that this man has done business like this since the 1980s. He may have been done business like this before. So he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what buttons to push. May I recommend the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Then there's the 48 Laws of Success. You want to defeat Donald Trump? Get into his head. See, Sun Tzu in The Art of War had said, when you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles ahead. So, I'm going to end this now. But if I can write a book and have the courage to publish it, I have 3 books now, but the first 2 are the same thing. So do yourselves a favor. Do something. Because if you sit around, hey, people yell about Antifa. Hey, guess what? Antifa is at least doing something. You know what they're doing? They're actually getting out and standing up for what they believe in. Yeah, typing on a computer. Yeah, that's really big. You're not a Billy Badass if you can just type on a computer. The real badasses, well, I know a lawyer, a woman. You know what she does? She fights the system. She fights the system. And I'll tell you, she's good at it. I'm not going to mention her name, because I'm not going to draw any more heat on her. And what are you going to do, huh? And for those that are saying, oh, well, this guy, he's not speaking for me. Well, you're right. I'm not speaking for you. I'm speaking for me. But also, I'm going to say this. If you don't do anything, 2020 comes and Donald Trump is reelected president, as we've seen some, including the so-called time traveler. Well, guess what? If he gets reelected, what have you done to try to prevent it? And those that want him reelected, when you say, oh yeah, we got the greatest economy ever, and yet I'm hearing that now Trump is getting scared because his economy is starting to collapse. His economy, not ours. So let me just say this. Our country is going to fall because of its citizens, because we refused or failed to do something to correct it. What are you afraid of? What is your fear? Do something. Take an action. Take a step. Plan an event. If you want to protest, plan a protest. Those that have protested, both for and against Trump, I say, thank you. At least you exercise your right to protest. For law officers across the world that are arresting protesters, this I have to say. As long as they have permission and nothing is said, and then the day of they're protesting, all of a sudden you say, oh, that was revoked. Yet you have no documentation. They have every right to protest under the First Amendment. So, everyone, do something. 2019, let's make this a year of action. Let's do something, even if it's in our own backyard. Because at this same time next year, let's say that at least we did something to try bettering our area, our community, our towns. Whatever your beliefs are, put them to the side. Whatever your fears are, face them. If you're still alive, if you still have your family, if you still have a job, if you have a roof over your head, food in your bellies, and clothes on your back, be grateful. Believe in what deity you pray to. I thank God that, and I'm always grateful for everything that I get. I've been out of prison now for 3 years. This is my third Christmas out of prison. Those that have never been in prison, never lost anything, especially didn't lose your children or your family. You should be getting down on the ground, kissing the feet. Actually, not kissing the feet, but just saying thank you. Being grateful. Tell your family members you love them. Don't take them for granted. Don't take advantage of them. Every day is a blessing. because tomorrow's not promised. And as I end this, I'm going to ask you this question. You, the people that are watching this. What would you do if today was the last day you would see a family member? Mother, father, brother, sister, grandfather, grandmother, aunt, uncle, or even your own children. Especially children. Let's say that today Child Protective Services shows up and says, we're taking the children under exigent circumstances. What would you do? Would you allow them to take them? Or would you ask for the court order? And law enforcement. Next time you decide to go with CPS, and this goes anywhere, question it. Question them. Ask, why are we doing this? Where's the evidence? It's okay to question it. If they say, well, you're going to lose your job, it's like, go right ahead. If you don't have evidence and we have laws that says that they protect them. In fact, how about that the United Nations Commission on the Rights of the Child, 1990? Wasn't it countries like Great Britain, Iran, and other countries ratified it? And a part of it was kidnapping and child trafficking? You should check it out. Trust me, I did, and I was very shocked. And you're supposed to report these. Because obviously you don't like reporting that, because by reporting it, well, I'm just going to leave it. But again, on this Christmas day, Christ, Joseph and Mary had to go to an inn. On today's standards, Jesus would have been taken. Joseph, they would have trumped up some charges on him. Mary would have had charges of kidnapping because she was a virgin. Jesus would have possibly ended up in some foster home. And, who knows? Could have been abused, starved, molested, or even killed. You think that won't happen? Why don't you read my book? Families Destroyed. And also, why don't you look on the internet? That's my challenge to you. Never take anything for granted. And question everything.